I just want to show how both of these connectors come out for the fuel injector and the coil. Pretty self-explanatory, but I've already unplugged the driver's side, but I'm working on the passenger side here. These stupid retainers sometimes get a bunch of dirt and dust in them, so you just kind of have to work them up with like a pick. Just kind of working it back and forth, and then they finally do pop up. Then you just push in on that tab and they come out. On the coil, what I like to do is just push on the back part of this wonderful red plastic retainer safety clip and just push it all the way through as far as you can. Then I take a pick on the other side and push it the way through. Then you just push on this tab and they come out. So there really isn't much to this harness. It's just the injectors and the coils. And there's this pressure sensor on top, the plug for the throttle body, and there is this temp sensor right here. And then it's just held on with a bunch of these metal clips on the intake, so you can just unclip those. Now we should be able to, actually looks like we can unplug it right there to get that harness out of the way. The other thing I did was the vacuum hose for the brake booster, and then for the evap right there hooks into the side of the throttle body right there. So you just unhook that like so. And so like I was saying, you can disconnect that harness, just those two plugs, and then the whole harness for the injectors and coils comes out. Now we need to disconnect the fuel line. It's the same process as pretty much the trans cooler lines. Just got to get this safety clip out. You just pop it forward and down and out. And then you just get a fuel disconnect tool. Mine is the blue colored one. And you push it down. In theory is what you're going to push the tool up and in. They're always a pain. They do eventually come off. So there's 4 torque converter bolts in total. And all you need to do is get a 21mm socket to put on the crank here, and then you can turn it around to access those bolts. Now we're going to go around and undo all the bell housing bolts. These are 16mm on the front side here, and then 15mm that go around the top. Same thing over here, there's that 16mm right there, and then 15 on the other side. We're going to hurry and zip those out, and we'll be right back. Now that we've got everything unhooked down below, I'm going to come back up top. I'm going to take this intake off, I think. I think it's just going to make it easier to pull this motor the rest of the way out. So, first thing we need to do to get the intake off, take this EGR tube off. It's just held on with this clip right here. Don't lose that. Just gonna loosen that. Next, we're gonna take the tube off the EGR. This one's got mismatched bolts, so 1/8, 1/10. So to be honest, I'm not sure. I would assume it came with 8 mils, but could be 10s as well. Now that we got the EGR tube off, we're going to take the intake off. Just held on with a bunch of 8mm. So you're going to have to take the throttle body off to squeeze it out. Now that we got the intake off, we're just going to take these 2 motor mount bolts off. There's 2 on each side, so a total of 4. They're 18mm. So we're going to take those out, and the motor should be ready to be lifted out of here. And the last thing you're going to want to do before you lift this out is there's 2 13mm bolts on the back for these ground straps. Whoever put this motor in only did the one side last time, or at least I think this truck's had. another motor swap in its lifetime. So anyways, just take those out right there and you'll be good to go. So now we should be ready to pull this motor out. We got just some bolts bolted into where the intake goes with a chain, and then we're just going to want to take a floor jack, a block of wood, and jack it up on the transmission, and we should be able to lift and separate it from the trans and pull this engine out. So here we go.